Former pro wrestling star and University of South Carolina football All-American Del Wilkes passed away early July 1st at the age of 59 of a massive heart attack. One of only 4 consensus All-American football players in program history, George Rogers, Melvin Ingram, and Jadeveon Clowney are the others. Wilkes bolstered an offensive line in 1984 that helped set school records for touchdowns with 49, 371 total points, and 5,095 total offensive yards. Heavily recruited as an offensive lineman at Columbia's Irmo High School, Wilkes was USC's most decorated player in 1984 when the Gamecocks finished 10-2. Wilkes broke into the wrestling business in 1988 following a failed attempt in the NFL. The Colombian native found a wrestling school not far from home. The facility was run by legendary women's wrestling star, the Fabulous Moolah. Moolah had been responsible for training the majority of women wrestlers during the 60s and 70s. It was geared more towards women than it was guys, said Wilkes. But we paid our money and we went through the school and paid our dues and basically started out at the very bottom level of professional wrestling. As the Patriot, he became a top international star. You saw him in WWF. You saw him in WCW with Marcus Alexander Bagwell as Stars and Stripes. But he really made his mark in Japan, where fans marked out for his sculpted physique and colorful mask. Wilkes retired from the wrestling business in the late 1990s due to a triceps injury. Wilkes had worked for the past 16 years as a car salesman in Columbia, South Carolina. We here at HMG want to extend our condolences to the Wilkes family.
Through the years, we all remember when we first witnessed a national tragedy. We remember the good times and the bad times through either a song, a TV show, a monumental sports achievement, or even the smell of a particular food from when we were young. Welcome to the show that will take you on a journey through time to relive those iconic moments. Welcome to RTW Rewind, where old school rules. So, without any further delay, let's introduce you to the host of the show, Rad Rob Francois.
Hey guys, welcome back to RTW Rewind. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. I hope everybody's doing well all around the world, and thank you for being here. I am here with my partner in crime. He is the R to the B to the V. He is the host of Hitting the Marks with Jargo. He is the host of the Monday Locker Room. He is found with Jargo and John Paz on What If, on the two-man Power Trip Empire.
Who is?
He is producer extraordinaire from RBV Fitness. Can your intro get any longer? It's Rick Vickery. What's up, buddy? Thanks for being here, man.
Thank you, sir. Yes, it is me, the HMG hot dog, the R to the B to the V, Richard Bronson Vickery, and brother Rad Rob. I gotta say, I'm just not pumped. I am plumped to be here with you tonight on the Rewind to talk about. You know, everyone knows I'm a foodie extraordinaire. I've been dubbed one of the great American food influencers. But, man, I am especially stoked tonight to talk about the true culinary American icon, the hot dog. But, you know, before we dive into that, very moving, touching there, brother, what you put together, the great Del Wilkes, the Patriot. And, you know, so many fond memories inside the professional wrestling world, just involving him back to the trooper days of the AWA, just looking at that physique and it just being in awe, like, oh my good Lord, look at this guy. This is a true megastar. One of those guys you were in awe of just at the site. And then to, you know, being able to see where he was able to go in his career. But yes, of course, you know, really hit that home run with the Patriot gimmick. If he had the pass, maybe no fitting time. You hate to lose anyone, but to be able to celebrate his life and career as we head into the Independence Day, the birthday of America, what we celebrate, all things great here. And he really embodied that inside the world of professional wrestling. So I guess in a somber way, a celebration and good timing with it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We were friends on Facebook, and I had planned on getting him on the show here in the next few weeks. But obviously, with his passing, that's not going to happen. He was a great American. I mean, literally, like the Patriot was the perfect character for him because he loved this country. He even had a podcast, and he frequently broadcasts on Facebook Live, talking about this country and everything that's going on with it. And he's a very staunch conservative. So he loved this country. And he loved football and all sports, and he was chiseled out of stone. Unfortunately, due to injuries and a couple demons that he had, early in his career.
I think that's okay to talk about. You look at somebody like that with those looks, that athletic ability, the personality. You kind of think, everything is going to be easy street, and what a tremendous life he's going to have. But it was a roller coaster. Yeah. Just like it is for so many of us here in America. And, he's a testament and proof, that anyone could hit lows, but it's about how you bounce back and what you ultimately make of yourself. Again, leaving us far too soon, but a tremendous legacy and a proud patriot and so many great memories as a wrestling fan.
Yeah, our thoughts and prayers and wishes go out to the entire Wilkes family and their friends. As they mourn the loss of a great man. So, moving on, it's time to talk hot dogs.
Yeah, pal.
My favorite food next to pizza is the hot dog. So I am very, very excited when you said, "Hey, Rob, let's talk about hot dogs," because this is also leading up to our Nathan's hot dog eating contest watch along on Sunday. This is the precursor to that. We're going to get you all warmed up for the festivities on Sunday. Talking about everybody's favorite food.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of the equivalent of us warming up the grill. Rad Rob, you are right. This will be the third annual here on the HMG, the Hameen Media Group platform. That it's the worldwide watch along, if you will. And I remember when I pitched this idea going back, 2 years ago, they thought I was crazy. They thought I was absurd. MSG was going to produce it for me, and he didn't want to come on camera with me. He thought it was completely wasting everyone's time, but it ended up, it was a record showing. People across the globe. I think at one point in the chat we had 5 to 7 countries represented. 100 or so people in there, and it was such a tremendous interaction. And it's a very laid back, casual. When we asked it, because of copyright issues, we can't broadcast through the stream, but tune in wherever you're at. We'll get the watch along. We're going to bring you tremendous insights, some fun dog stats. We're going to have a good time, have some guest appearances. Hey, BYOB, bring something to drink because, the RBV, I'm going to have a whiskey and beer in hand, but we're going to kick back. That's going to be Sunday, July 4th, upcoming, couple days away. We're going to go with the ESPN 1 feed. That's the men's contest. That gets going at noon. So we'll get the live stream going about 11:50 a.m. Eastern to let everybody kind of filter in, and we'll start the show. But yes, leading up to the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, we wanted to deep dive into the history of the dog here on the Rewind. Rob, you said it's one of your favorite foods. It's one of my foods. As I said there, it truly is the culinary icon of American foods. And it's a favorite by everybody from top to bottom. No matter who you are, you can enjoy a good dog.
Growing up as a kid in the Northeast, we had several local regional brands. We were talking off air about how how regional a thing hot dogs are. You mentioned, Domino's, Burger King, McDonald's, franchises in those genres branching worldwide. But when it comes to hot dogs, and we'll get into this a little bit later, it really is a local thing. I mean, everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own favorites. I don't think you'll ever get everybody to agree on what the best kind of hot dog is around this country. Because everybody loves it differently. It's all subjective.
And that's why, it is that true culinary American icon is, it filters through so much that we have here inside of the United States of America. It did start through the Northeast because that's where your immigrants are coming through. And then as you talk about that, Rob, you're right. Where you got these titans of the industry, these great major brands like McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell, the chicken game, whatever it might be, they're national, they're not global. But with hot dogs, it's kind of been that one food that stays traditional to the neighborhood, the boroughs, those little cultures that are kind of set up shop in those areas. And then beyond that, it's just not the flavors that were brought to that area. They've got their own American spin on that. So I did think, a good spot to jump into the pool here with the hot dogs is the precursor. Look at before it hit our shores. Where did the hot dog come from? And I guess, again, just much like the hamburger, great debate. Who invented the precursor, which is simply the sausage? I'll give you a guess here. Where do you think?
I mean, a lot of people lay claim to it. The Polish think they invented the sausage. The Germans obviously think they invented the sausage. It's also, much like pizza. You get the Italians and the Greeks always trying to, fight over who invented the first pizza. But hot dog is another one where there's contradictory stories. To me, when I think of a hot dog and when I think of a sausage, it's German. It's from Germany.
I was going to say, they are right there. And for the modern style, yeah, many will kind of succeed and give the head nod to the Germans there. But you know, it could have been the Greeks. Homer mentioned sausage-like food all the way back in the Odyssey, which was written, what was that, like the 7th or 8th century BC?
Yeah, exactly.
You've got the Romans around 60 AD. A cook named Gaius was roasting a pig for Emperor Nero, and back then they would starve the pigs just to hurry up the roast time. So whatever reasons there, but as he was cooking this thing, the intestines fell out. And that's where they say, hey, you know what? This could be a good casing here. We'll stuff this stuff, we'll stuff it full of whatever meats and spices. And that's was, why sausage was, has been around almost as long as we have. I mean, one of those first major foods is because you could preserve it like that. You put it in that casing. It could be held for months, years at a time. It was good for travel, good for military use. So, yeah, and it was especially big in Rome. So it was kind of a little fun fact here with Rome. They claim, as I said, they claim they invented it there under Emperor Nero. Well, Emperor Constantine, he actually tried to ban the sausage making and consumption of sausages after he converted the empire to Christianity because he believed it was too pagan.
I did not hear that one. That's a new one for me.
Yeah, but as you'd mentioned, in the 1400s, I guess the first great Wiener War, you had Frankfurt, Germany, really laying claim to it with the Frankfurter, and then in Vienna, Austria, where we get the Wiener. Those two areas there, they kind of moved to the forefront there as is trying to make claim to who invented the sausage. Now, when it talks about, bring it to the American shores, I guess unquestionably, you do have the other influences. You got the Polish sausages and all that, but the evolution, the foundation for what we know now as the American hot dog had to be the German immigrants.
I agree. And they kind of went everywhere when they came to Ellis Island for the first time. They kind of branched out in New York, New Jersey, and kind of stayed in the tri-state area. But you also had some go further west to Chicago. You mentioned Vienna. Vienna is a big brand in Chicago. And obviously Chicago has their own special kind of a dog. And immigrants actually introduced the Vienna beef hot dog at the
was at the World's Fair?
At the World's Fair. Sorry, I lost my notes here. They debuted it at the World's Fair. So it makes sense to me that the Germans created it. I mean, if they didn't create it, they at least popularized it in Europe and in America when they came over.
Well, I don't want to give really credit to any of them creating it because, maybe it was again, the precursor, the inspiration. But when we talk about the great American dog, we're going to dive into, all these tremendous, just brilliant individuals who helped bring the hot dog as we know it today. But, as you're talking about, settling in Chicago and you see the Polish influence, or up in New York where you're seeing the Germans and then how they migrate through the Midwest and all that, hot dogs, again, they're the American immigration history. They're a great story there. It's the ultimate symbol of our society, man. It's look at a hot dog. It's very simplistic. It's a wiener on a bun. It is, but it's just like us. We're all Americans. We're all humans. But then you start topping it with all these amazing flavors, and each becomes unique and awesome, man.
And when it comes to the buns, you have several people that lay claim to being the first ones to ever put this sausage on a bun too. It's funny. I've never heard half these stories when I did my research this week, but for one thing to be so hotly contested between people, we'll never really know because all those people.
Well, I was gonna say you heard when shit hits the fan. Well, how about when the wiener meets the bun? This is great argument, and there's so many different legends and maybe tall tales and just tremendous stories out there. Let's go through some of them, man. Good, that's why you're here, man. The transition, man. Well, I guess see some of the big legendary stories out there. Pretty much, they link hot dogs with another great American tradition, the American pastime. They go hand in hand, right? Baseball.
That's right. I always remember getting Fenway Franks up in Boston when I used to go to the Red Sox games.
Fenway Franks, I've had one there. You ever had a Dodger dog?
I have not. I have not been out to the West Coast.
They are delicious. I think they run about $12 now, though. But hey, if it's a once in a lifetime treat, go ahead, do it. But yeah, baseball and hot dogs, they go hand in hand. So yeah, right there in New York, one of the legends claimed that gentleman Harry M. Stevens, he sold ice cream at the Polo Grounds, who of course then was the home of the New York Giants, and it was kind of a frigid, chilly day one afternoon for a baseball game, and ice cream wasn't moving, so he sent his crew out to get all the frankfurters from the local delis and merchants and all that. And when they brought them back, to make it easier to distribute and kind of handle, he put them on a roll, slapped a little mustard on there. And that's one of the rumored creations of the first time the dog was put to the bun. Also a tie to baseball, they claim, was out in St. Louis. Gentleman Chris Von Day with the St. Louis Browns. They said he was doing it like as early as the 1890s. So some of the early ties there, outside of course, the big boom, which we know is Coney Island. What other stories have you heard besides the Coney Island before we jump into really the OGs of the hot dog, if you will?
One of the rumors I heard was that the sausages were called Dachshund sausages, and Dachshund is a dog. It's a breed of dog, and
it's the wiener dog.
It's the wiener dog. So I think the story I heard was a person putting up a sign didn't know how to spell dachshund, and they knew that it was a dog. So they just and they come get your hot dachshunds, And when they tried to advertise or put a sign up, they didn't know how to spell it, and they put hot dog. So that's one of the rumors that I heard.
That actually ties in going to the Polo Grounds. With the New York Giants, with the gentleman, Harry M. Stevens, who was selling the ice cream that day. So as he has his staff out there, as I said, they went to the local merchants, collected, all the frankfurters they could, and they slapped them on the cut rolls. So as the vendors are out in the ballpark, you always, one of the regular calls, Pilsner here, ice cold Pilsner. So, they're doing their pitch. So some of the vendors would yell, Red Hots, get your Red Hots.
Red Hots, yeah.
And the other ones would be Dachshund dogs after the wiener dog. And you are correct. It was a sports writer, cartoonist working for the Giants at the time who was putting together an illustration and a story about kind of, this new flavor that was taking the audience by storm. And you're right, he didn't know how to spell Dachshund dogs, well, obviously dogs, but Dachshund. So he combined the two, and you had hot dogs, which is one of the rumors out there of where the name came from.
I mean, it makes sense to me. I don't know if it's historically accurate.
Well, I guess what really makes it questionable is no one's ever seen this, the cartoon or the illustration. It no longer exists. So if it did, and some people were able to see it, it has been lost in the annals of history. And as I think I'm going to unfold here as we talk about the conversation, the hot dog, much like America, has been influenced by manipulative media. So we have some questionable stats on the timeline of the hot dog.
That doesn't surprise me because we still can't get news right here in 2021. So that doesn't come as a shock to me at all.
Hey, again, everyone thinks that's something that's specific, new to the age. Now it's always been that way, and it's all marketing ploys and pushing agendas. In this case, I can't argue though, because it surrounds the hot dog.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And one thing before we move on to that, we did have somebody say on Twitter, and I'm sorry, I was trying to find the tweet, but there is an argument that there is a huge difference between hot dog and Frankfurter. Do you know what the conspiracy or what the contention is there?
I don't know the exact details on that. I mean, that's kind of interesting to deep dive into. I'm going to guess, because you do have there is debate what qualifies as a hot dog, all depending on the meat that is used,
what it's made of, what the casing.
Yes, maybe the casing in those circumstances. And again, and that's what's so great about it. It is the precursor, but the hot dog stands on its own because it when it made its way to our shores, we cradled that baby, man. We cultivated it. We made it our own, just like America always does. We take what the rest of the world is doing and we make it a hell of a lot better.
No, that's absolutely right. I mean, that is why we are the greatest country in the world. So when it came to the States, who was the first one that really popularized it in the Northeast?
Well, you go to, and we're talking about the big boom of the dogs, and another gentleman that is in the conversation for putting the wiener to the bun, and that is Charles Feltman. And he operated a food cart back in 1867 on Coney Island. In 67, he has a variety stand there, pies, things of that nature. He sees his competition beginning to sell sandwiches, which are handheld on the go. And he wants to get into that market, food on the go. He's looking for a competitive edge. And it's believed that in 1869, he introduces a Frankfurter to his menu. This just booms. The wild success. So, we got 69, he puts the Frankfurter in there. By 1871, Feltman, his empire has expanded. He begins building a restaurant complex. That goes in, you're looking by the 1920s, just through the restaurant. He's serving like $5 million a year.
That's quite
yeah. So he takes that into opening 2 bars, beer gardens. He's got his own carousel. He's got his own hotel right there. And he really lays the groundwork for the boom of Coney Island, which made him, want to put the transit in, where you had people just continually flocking there. So pretty crazy, to think with Feltman. And he went from that simple food cart, kind of turned the corner when they said, he had the Frankfurter and he put it in a grilled bun. On his cart, he attached a small charcoal grill, and it would place him on the grilled bun. So again, was he the godfather, the mastermind, the inventor? But it certainly worked out well for him, as he really becomes high class and is probably one of the finer, ends up being one of the finer dining establishments there on the East Coast. And it's kind of all thanks to the dog.
I guess we can call him the dog father of America.
Let's go ahead. The dog father. Let's do it. Feltman, the dog father. But in 1915, he makes a hire that would forever change the game.
That's absolutely right. He would hire the eventual king of Coney Island when it comes to hot dogs. And who exactly was that, sir?
Well, you have Nathan Handwerker, young Polish immigrant, Jewish ancestry, pretty much fresh in the States, trying to make his name for himself. He came here for that great American dream, that entrepreneurial spirit. A little hard work, elbow grease, dedication, believing in yourself, gambling on yourself is going to pay off. And oh, brother, did it. An incredible, great entrepreneur, inspirational story here. I do like that, he opens up, he starts with Feltman's in 1915, and he gets hired on as a roll cutter. Back then we didn't have these things pre-sliced.
Right.
When you're in the restaurants or, you're in the shops, wherever it might be, you had somebody sitting there hand slicing all of those. And as he's working there for Feltman's, he's looking at, this incredible menu, this incredible operation they have going on. And he notices their version of the hot dog. And, he's thinking to himself, at this time, they're selling them for 10 cents. And it's one of the cheaper items on their menu. And there is rumor and legend that at this time, the only thing he could afford to eat was those.
Yeah.
And he's looking around at other people like himself, and he really is, this could be the food of the common man. And if I could do it all, and so he goes and asks, if he can work in that division, in that department, solely focus on all things hot dogs, so he can understand exactly what goes into, how do you make these things? Right. And he develops this true passion for it, all with the intent of one day, I'm going to go to war with Mr. Feltman here.
And it's funny, the recipe they used for that particular hot dog came from his wife's grandmother. It was a secret special family secret spice recipe. So together, Nathan and his wife Ida spent their life savings together about $300, which due to inflation probably be about $7 to $10 grand now to begin their business. So it's interesting that he didn't really copy Feltman's recipe had he known it, but he actually went with his own. So I actually do respect him for doing that, not trying to piggyback.
Well, I think he saw, a tremendous value in the product itself, the idea behind the hot dog, what it could bring to the Coney Island area. But you got to think outside that box, and just not think outside the box. You got to completely break it down, reinvent the thing. Why are they going to go to him if he's just using their recipe? He's got to up the game. He's got to offer a better product. And as you said, an incredible gamble there. Within a year, in 1916, he goes out on his own. He said him and his wife, they invest their life savings. Dollar amount doesn't matter here, man. It's everything they have. This is the ultimate gamble. And they have to make it succeed. Now, another obstacle in his way that he possibly didn't factor in here is he's going to take this gamble. One is there was a lot of question around hot dogs at that time. It was, right now it's the meat processing was very questionable, and that was public knowledge. And they were, very worried about what was going into these. If it was the scrapings, you still hear that about hot dogs today. It's the leftover parts of whatever they've got there, the hodgepodge of the meat floor.
That reminds me of the movie The Great Outdoors, where there's raccoons eating out of trash cans, and there's hot dogs there. You know what hot dogs are made out of? It's lips and assholes. So, it's always been a running joke if you never know what is inside. It says chicken, beef, and pork. Well, you don't know what parts of those are in it.
Right.
It's always been kind of a mystery when it comes to what's inside the casings.
Well, so you already have that around the hot dog. And so Nathan, as he goes out, he says, okay, if Feldman's making these for, selling these for 10 cents, I'm going to sell them for a nickel. You think, all right, cut it in half. Why aren't they going to come to you? You get two for what they're getting over there. Mm-hmm. This kind of backfired on him. As a lot of people thought, oh, you can charge less because obviously you're using an inferior product.
Right.
So with this major scare here, he's not going to let this hold him back, man. Nathan's little funny stat here with them. Opened in 1916. They didn't dub the place Nathan's until 1921. So it was just a little hot dog stand kind of operating. Just there it is on the corner of Surf and wherever it's at there. But so what he did is he goes to the local hospital facility, Coney Island Hospital facility, and he offers any staff free hot dogs as long as they're in uniform.
That's right.
So you just think, the imagery there, you're seeing these medical professionals, these respected, brilliant minds in uniform eating a hot dog. Well, hell, it's got to be safe, right? Better than safe, it's probably got to be good for you. So the marketing ploy definitely paid off for him. People started paying more attention. He would also, Nathan was very good about, I guess he was a very likable personality, much like you, Rob. I mean, nobody has a bad thing to say about you. Everybody loves you. So he would reach out, and with the location there, he was able to make many celebrity friends. A lot of people say that Babe Ruth, especially, going back to that baseball connection, was a huge Nathan's guy. That he would even, if it was Nathan's or hot dogs, they said between double headers, he might eat 8 to 10 of them.
I can see that. He's a big guy.
Yes, sir. So it's, definitely paid off for him. And then, generation after generation there of the hand workers, very driven. And very progressive in how they're going to push and market their brands. And it's made Nathan's probably the most recognizable hot dog brand in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely right. And, he did hand it down to his son, as you mentioned, generations and generations. His son, Murray, opened up another branch in Long Beach Road in Oceanside, New York, in 1959.
I was going to say, what would an RBV visit to Rad Rob's retro show be without a run-in? I can even get them here in Ohio right now, man. I picked these up for lunch today, man. Got me a Nathan's on the road. I kept it pretty simple here, man. At the Nathan's dog with some fresh diced onion on there, baby.
That's so good. I mean, his son took it public and really made it national and started calling it Nathan's Famous. So he knew he had a great product. He knew the vision of his dad. He was smart enough, almost like Vince McMahon was, Vince McMahon Jr. Was with wrestling. He took it away from the regional area and wanted to go national with it. And that's what Nathan's son Murray did. He took the brand national. He dubbed it Nathan's Famous, and they were off to the races from there.
Keep talking, Rob. I'm chewing.
We got a little ASMR here with RBV.
Yes.
Hot dog.
There you go. Hey, man, I've been staring at this thing the entire record, waiting to take that damn bite. Hey, I ordered that for lunch, so I had it sitting up there. Believe me, you know how hard it was for me not to eat that thing all day.
You were very dedicated to your profession.
Well, to be fair, I had 3 for lunch, so I saved this one.
RBV Fitness, guys. Check him out on Facebook. RBV Eats Out. Definitely follow him on Twitter and Facebook. Great pictures.
RBV Fitness, man. It's all about making a more well-rounded you, man.
It's just like me.
That's what it's about. So, with Nathan's, thank God he went with the Nathan's name. Isn't it? I mean, you already got hot dogs are already provocative enough, a little risque. Can you imagine hand worker hot dogs?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. If it's, handheld, it's portable. Hand worker kind of makes sense, but yeah, doesn't really roll off the tongue. So I'm sure Nathan's Famous was a much, much better company name that they came up with than Hand Workers Hot Dogs.
Yes. I guess, why we're talking Nathan's Famous. I guess it's time a plug to remind everybody to join us again coming up this Sunday, 4th of July, right around noon Eastern. We're going to be going live right here, the same platform, Rob and myself, the HMG Worldwide Watch Along for the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Now, Rob, I know you've been studying this. You've been doing your history on the hot dog eating contest. Man, you want to talk about some crazy marketing and some manipulated media here.
Yeah. I first came upon this probably about 10, 15 years ago, just flipping through the channels and I happened to turn on ESPN and saw the hot dog eating contest, and I'm like, what in the hell is this, and how do I get into it? How do I get paid for eating 100 hot dogs? And I think back then it might have been Kobayashi, maybe.
Kobayashi, which really, that was kind of that boom.
Yeah.
You got the American hot dog, and here's this Japanese dude, just absolutely shattering records. And, I guess it was a lot like, if we're from the wrestling world. So, you have that foreign heel. At first, a lot of people kind of, this is kind of cool. This is interesting. We like this guy. He's got a good look to him.
I'm sure Jargon was a big fan of him.
Well, eventually, though, the audience turns on him because, wait a minute, this is a foreign entity dominating an American event. Our great American hot dogs, are being consumed like this by this Japanese, by Kobayashi, and it set it up. You had to have the Hulk Hogan of the hot dog world, Joey Chestnut, enter, the real American to save the day, and it created the great, one of the greatest rivalries possibly in sport. For a comparison for you moviegoers, let's think Rocky with the Russian.
Yeah, exactly right. Joey Chestnut kind of set the world on fire when it comes to competitive eating and the hot dog contest. I mean, the guy is a machine, and no discredit to Kobayashi himself. I mean, he's just a skinny, small Japanese guy. Like, it's amazing if you ever watch how competitive eaters kind of prep to their, before their big contests. Filling their stomachs up with water and expanding their stomachs and getting them to expand so they can fill it all up with processed meat and byproducts and whatever the hell it is. It's truly remarkable, and it's no small feat. I mean, they really do train for these things. It's not just like, hey, this guy's a big, they can now eat guys that are 350-pound linemen. You know what I mean? It's just it's incredible when it comes to competitive eating.
One of those memories of those big. Let's call them the big guts that are coming to the table. Remember when Fridge Perry, he's trying to get into the game, man, and he held his own, but nothing compared to these guys, the true elite of the competitive eating world. We talk about and I think it was a genius marketing move, but there's great debate on when the hot dog eating contest around Nathan's originated. Now, from a marketing standpoint, there was a gentleman who had come out and claimed that it started going all the way back from the get-go in 1916. And I love this story. I mean, this pulls at your heartstrings. He said, upon the opening, that there was 5 immigrants, and to decide who was the most patriotic, who had become the most American, they were going to have a hot dog eating contest at the Nathan stand. So a great story of inspiration. But since then, the gentleman who was in charge of that campaign pitch has admitted that him and a partner had fabricated that. So there's, as we're talking about who was the first to put the wiener to the bun, who invented the sausage. Again, it's a great debate. But no matter when it originated, whenever the first one was, it's had a tremendous run. And you're right, Rob, to come really this phenom where we're going to be sitting down watching it on ESPN
every July 4th. I mean, it's a thing that we do. And ESPN tells the story every year, but they claim that the first one on record was 1972. So even if it is that far back, that's a long time, dude. That's what, 51 years or so? I'm not good with math, but I don't know. Anyway, it goes back that far, and it became such a phenom in itself that a sports network picked it up. And back in the day, ESPN kind of put anything on. In the early days of ESPN, just like MTV, they needed content, so they pretty much put on anything that they could. It was poker, it was lumberjack shit or fishing or whatever. But
what is stuck and what captivates people every year now that you begin. I mean, you look at these mega events of sport. The hot dog eating contest, it's elevating itself into the likes of WrestleMania, the World Series, the NBA Finals, the Super Bowl. whatever it might be. If it's a tremendous spectacle, and they do an incredible job in how they present and the performances all around. It's people look forward to it. It's incredible.
It really is, and I'm looking forward to it. And we'll cover more of that on Sunday when we watch the this year's festivities. But you put out a tweet today about, and you put it on Facebook as well. You can only add 3 toppings to this hot dog. What are you adding? And we got a pretty good response on that. So I do want to go over some of these. And we also have everybody in the chat. Thanks, guys, for hanging out and watching us here live on HMG YouTube. We have Big Josh he mentioned he wanted to know if coleslaw was the most overrated topping on the hot dog. It depends where you're from.
No way, man. You gotta love a good slaw dog, man. I love it.
It depends where you're from. Like I said, it's all subjective and it's all regional. Where I come from, that wasn't a thing. So I don't know what region that is.
Well, you look the slaw dogs. You go. Mainly, it holds claim. It's down by you. Atlanta is really where you get the slaw dog. There's variations in Texas. Here in Cincinnati, we have a variation where we put it on with our Cincinnati style chili, and then put some finely shredded cheddar cheese on there. So it's kind of a spinoff of our conies, our Cincinnati conies. So I absolutely love the slaw dog, man.
Leon Phelps says he prefers a Chicago dog himself with sports peppers and bar pickle.
Yeah.
Chicago, like I said, Chicago is a pretty big contender when it comes to their own kind of hot dogs. I've heard pickles, peppers, tomatoes, celery, salt. They have their own regional kind of hot dog. And if you argue with people like that, I mean, they're going to tell you it's the best. But again, somebody from another part of I was talking to Bobo today. Bobo's a big supporter of HMG, the one true Bobo. He is from Connecticut, and he likes spicy deli mustard, spicy relish, and sauerkraut. So
I got to tell you, man, everything that in the threads that we saw and what the chat's throwing out here, consider me Tammy Linstitch, aka Sonny. I don't think I've had a wiener that I don't like.
Very well done. I'm a very picky eater, so I don't have the palate that you might have or most other people have. I keep it simple. I'm either ketchup and mustard, ketchup, mustard, relish.
Now, a lot of places ketchup is a huge no.
That's exactly
on your dog. Right. And actually, the OG topping, which was intended to be the only topping, was mustard.
Mustard, yeah, that's exactly. And there's people like different kinds of mustard. They like yellow mustard. They like Dijon mustard. They like there's a spicy deli mustard. People can't even agree on that either. So
and that's the beautiful part about the dog. It is giving you
it's so versatile, Rick. It really is.
It's giving you the basics. I mean, just even on its own, it is a delicious treat. Incredible flavors, so easy to eat. But you have got this blank canvas, and you could be the artist and create whatever you want with it. Very symbolic of America. It is the food of opportunity. It is how you seize it and what you make of it, and you can eat it on the go anywhere and across the land. If you're rich, poor, male, female, any of the 72 sexual whatever we got there, if you're rich or poor, whatever you come from in your social standings, hot dogs have affected our life.
That's exactly right. And it amazes me because we talked about the various types of pizza on the last show when we did the history of fast food and all that, and Chicago has deep dish and New York has their own. New York, California likes the thin crust, but again, just like hot dogs, it's you can look right here in the chat. Sonic the Hedge Rat doesn't like sauerkraut. He thinks it's the worst. He likes mustard, chili, onion, and slaw. So I mean, it's like, to me, that's disgusting. But I mean, that's like I said, I keep it simple. I might not be the best person to ask about that, but I can just put plain ketchup on it. Or I could even eat a hot dog if it's good without any condiments at all. And it depends the quality of the hot dog.
I was gonna say again, man, I think I like them all. I've had them with a whole pickle spear.
I bet you have.
Yeah. Maybe that's one topic I'll turn down, but all right. I'm headed with
pal.
You've got the dog on there. You got the pickle spear, even mayonnaise on there.
I was going to say
with a little tomato and then some shredded cheese what I've known it as called is the alligator style. It is good.
Bang Biscuit brought that up on Twitter. He said, hear me out. If they're all beef hot dogs, then put some mayo, pickles, and lettuce on it. And you did mention the Dixie chili. Call them the alligator conies, and it's dog, bun, pickle spear, mayo, and cheese. Now, I'm a mayo fan, but I can say I've never had it on a hot dog. So I actually might have to try that when I come see you in August for the wine mixer wrestling event that we have going on.
There we go. You can go up to Seattle where MSG is from. Of course, now living in Denver, but up in Seattle, they're known for their siracha sauce and jalapenos on theirs.
Sounds good.
Heck yeah, man! You always. That's one of the things in traveling that I always go. What is the style of hot dog here? And I got to find one. Who's got the best?
Yeah. And, I wondered why didn't more national franchises come out, when it comes to, because like Burger King tried the hot dog for a month. It didn't stick. I know, DQ has a hot dog on their menu. Obviously Sonic has hot dogs on their menu. Why do you think even McDonald's, I don't think they've ever even released a hot dog. Why do you think other national brands?
I think there was a short-lived McDog.
Was there? Okay. But why is it that more franchises haven't tried to do that?
Man, I want a Big Mac hot dog now.
Jesus Christ.
Damn. I think, again, as we've talked about, it's so regional because of where you had the immigrants go. In Chicago, you got more of the Polish flavorings, and it is about how they make it, what meats they're using, what spices are they blending in, as opposed to what we see in the Northeast, and even how it's in each place has made it their own little in their own little borough and put their little unique flavors that are also that are iconic in your regions. Here in Cincinnati, a great that's not chili. Well, it's God's chili. Okay. That's what it is. And you know why? Because it complements the dog. It's, we put it right on there. You get some nice fresh diced onions, some nice yellow mustard, finely shredded cheddar cheese. There you go. That's our hot dog. And then we can put other things. I love putting slaw on mine, man. Hell, we're coming up on this weekend. It's going to be when there's more hot dogs consumed than any other time of the year. We're talking, I would say almost into the billions, millions, and billions that we're going to see just through the summertime consumed. Hey, what are all the other sides that we have at the picnic? I love piling on some baked beans on there, whatever the hell, crumbling up some barbecue potato chips on top of those baked beans. Put the slaw, put some cheese on there. Hey, I'm good to go.
I was gonna say, two of my go-tos for 4th of July are typically baked beans and potato chips. Like I have to have either one or both, or either or with my hot dog, or I'm not a happy guy. And that's pretty much any day I have a hot dog too. I always have to have a side item with it, and it's typically for me it's potato chips.
I will say, every year, just in a year's time, the U.S. buys more than 9 billion hot dogs.
Wow.
In the summertime, Memorial Day to Labor Day is the boom period, obviously, and then the 4th of July weekend is, that's the go-to. That is the home run. Also, Rob, I think what really contributed to why we haven't seen, like the Nathans really dominate the national scene, like you do a McDonald's or something along those lines, is when you saw the widespread, of the hot dog. It's the hot dogs in the home. And that's really, you attribute that. I know there's so many great brands out there, but it all started with Oscar Mayer.
Yeah.
And, it's something that you can keep in the fridge at home, and it's easy to make. You throw it on the grill. It's the easiest thing to go to on the grill. You can put them on the stovetop. Hell, you can do them in the microwave, and they're delicious. Little trick to microwave it if you want. Get a moistened towel, put the dog in the bun, wrap it in the towel, pop it in that microwave for 30 seconds. It's just like a ballpark dog.
God damn, pal. I'm going to have to try that one and get off the air here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're quick on the go, boom. And what was so, with Oscar Mayer, they were a meat packing plant out of the Midwest. I can't recall exactly the exact location, but Midwest meat packing plant. And they had seen this thing, they're easy to produce. People of all walks of life enjoy them. You could make them on the fly. But where they really hit that home run is they really targeted marketing to kids.
Yeah.
Come on. What kid doesn't love a hot dog? Maybe some
exactly right.
weirdo kids out there that need to be beat, but most kids, rational kids, good wholehearted American kids, they love hot dogs. And I think, when we talk about marketing and growing these brands, hey, who doesn't pop for the Wienermobile?
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I mean, when you see that, it's almost like the ice cream cart for fat kids. You see the Wienermobile come around, you're like, I got to get me an Oscar Mayer Wiener.
You stop what you're doing there. You see that Wienermobile. I mean, it's like the Goodyear blimp coming to an event, man. It is a major happening. What really cracks me up though about the Wienermobile, when they launched this thing and they were taking it on the tour, they would hire midget actors. You think, let's see if this would fly today. Oh, yeah, they'd be all over this thing. They would hire midget actors to play the role of little Oscar. And he would ride around in the bumper seat. And he was the world's tiniest chef. And he was bringing the Oscar Mayer deliciousness to all the kids across America.
And who couldn't beat the marketing campaign? I mean, I hope we don't get DCMA, but I do have the jingle here.
Oh, I'd love to be
an Oscar Mayer Wiener.
And who didn't know that growing up? I mean, probably millennials don't know that, but I mean, you and I, I want to be an Oscar Mayer Wiener. They wrote a freaking song about it, Rick. I mean,
that's truly what I like to be. Because if I was an Oscar Mayer Wiener, then everyone would be in love with me.
I mean, it's genius, right? I mean, like you said, marketing to kids, it's perfect. Dude, I can't tell you how many hot dogs I consumed as a kid, and maybe that's why I'm 300 pounds today, but still, that's regardless. I love hot dogs. I told you it was versatile. I will literally put hot dogs in almost anything. I'd put it in, speaking of baked beans, I'll just make a can of beans, stick hot dogs in it, or macaroni and cheese, I'll stick hot dogs in it. I think even one time I did cream corn and hot dogs, and it was fucking delicious. So hot dogs, it's a very, very versatile food. And as a kid, my earliest memories are going to my grandfather's house. He would take Oscar Mayer's out of the fridge. He'd melt some butter in a cast iron skillet, and he would fry them in butter. And holy shit, Rick, to this day, it's still one of the most delicious things ever. Just no bun, just straight up hot dogs fried in butter. Probably not the healthiest thing for you, but it is damn delicious, my friend.
Wow. That sounds good, man. Across the board there. Well, Rob, we're up against that wall. Do you want to talk some fun hot dog facts?
Let's go. What do you got?
I got a few here, and I'm pulling them up from a couple different sources. This one really jumped out to me, and we're talking about the demand. And, and hot dogs still, and again, as we're talking about how it's regional, and when you think, hot dogs are that ultimate, the food for everyone, but they're the street food. You think about the vendors. Across this country, your major cities and all that, man, there's nothing better than grabbing a good street dog. New York, a prime spot outside of Central Park Zoo, could cost a vendor nearly $300,000 in licensing to get those spots.
Wow, I didn't even realize that. I mean, and you think of New York, there's hot dog carts everywhere. When I think of a hot dog cart, my first thought is New York City.
Yeah. In any downtown, but yes, New York. Anytime you see a shot in a movie or something like that in New York or wherever a production, you got to have a hot dog cart in the background, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. I didn't realize that there was, just to rent that particular spot for the year.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. That just tells you how many hot dogs they sell per year.
Here we go. One here, a hot dog without meat or poultry. Sorry for you vegans out there. Or vegetarians, technically cannot be called a hot dog. We were talking earlier about what qualifies such a production to be deemed a hot dog. So there's one for you.
So it's got to be an animal byproduct. That's a fun fact.
Hot dogs are out of this world. Hot dogs were the first food eaten on the moon.
That I did not know.
Yeah, we had talked about the longevity. How they're easy to keep.
That makes me even more worried about what's actually in them.
On Independence Day, Americans are expected to enjoy 150 million hot dogs, enough to stretch from DC to LA more than 5 times.
Well, I know we're in a fireworks shortage right now this year. Hopefully, we're not in hot dog shortage.
Never. The first word spoken by American icon Mickey Mouse. Hot dog. How about that? I thought you were going to prop the Mickey Mouse hot dog song.
I hit the wrong button. So.
I was going to say, you've got a little one. My nephews, I think they're a little beyond that phase. But how many times do you want to blow your brains out listening to that one?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Going back to the regional thing, Rick, I did some research about what I grew up eating as far as natural casing hot dogs, and that was kind of my jam. I mean, Oscar Mayer's are great, but I was used to the German, sausage form in a pig casing or in some kind of a natural casing. When you put it on the grill and you bite into it and you got that snap, from the natural casing. That's kind of what I grew up with. There's several companies that got hit really hard by the pandemic and shut down after hundreds of years in business. Grote and Weigel was one, Muckies was the other. My favorite hot dog in the entire world, it's based out of Rhode Island. It's based out of Warwick, Rhode Island. It's soggy. And you can buy them online for about $150 for, with shipping for about 4 pounds. But I got my man Bobo here, said he's going to go to Stop and Shop and pick some up for me and figure out how to package them and send them to me. Dude, they are life-changing. My uncle said, he
Bobo, if we send them to the moon, I think you can figure out how to get it to the south.
That's exactly right. My uncle said he had people that didn't like hot dogs that ate soggy hot dogs and became fans. It's a regional thing. It's hard to find natural casing stuff in the South. Boar's Head kind of has a control on that here in the market. I did find one brand at Publix called Hoffman's, which is the closest thing I've found to soggies. It's a great natural casing. Growing up in Cincinnati and in the Ohio area, did they have natural casing hot dogs, or were you more
and I'll tell you
brands?
What's great here, and I seen you kind of talk about this in threads. Where I'm at on the west side of Cincinnati, where I grew up, you can go out, you can throw a rock and hit a local family-owned butcher shop. And they do their own there. Shout out to who I grew up with, 2 of them actually, that work in that industry. It's still generation after generation keeping it going for their family. One, Wassler Meats here. They do their own casing, all that. Simply incredible sausage and dog products. Langen Meats with my friend Chris Ruther that I grew up with, same thing. And they're keeping those, generation after generation, they're keeping that heritage alive. So yeah, again, you can get those local shops. As I'm thinking about dogs, man, there's a couple creamy whips. That's what we call them around here. I don't know what people. It's like the ice cream shop.
Okay.
But yeah, who doesn't like going there? You get yourself a cone or a malt and a shake and a foot long.
Yeah.
And get that topped however you want. But as you're talking about, what's the place you said what was yours? I saw some of the stuff. Was it Scully's?
Soggy.
I saw some of the pictures. They look phenomenal.
Yeah.
But we've got a place, Gene's Dog House,
mm-hmm.
That is beyond unbelievable. And that's a hot spot here in Cincinnati for that local dog flavor.
Yeah, we have several in Nashville, but they kind of carry all different styles. They'll have, Georgia style, Texas style, Chicago style, blah, blah, blah. So there's kind of, it's a gimmicky place. There's no real true, like, just natural hot dog stands or restaurants here in Middle Tennessee that I've found, and I've been searching for them. Trust me. Like I said, it's either I got to mail them back from home because there's no real good butchers here. Back home, we had Polish and German butchers and delis and meat shops that would pack their own sausages and make their own hot dogs.
And as you see the pop up of your big box grocery, the big brands, or those delis and meat shops or meat departments are kind of fading away, the mom and pop. But you can't beat them. You can't beat going to that mom and pop for the cuts, the flavors, the styles, the uniqueness to your area. It's unmatched.
Yeah, it really is. Leon Phelps said that he's making some hot dogs right now. He's making hot links wrapped with bacon, half with barbecue sauce. I do like some cheese and barbecue sauce and bacon.
Oh, baby, yeah.
On a hot dog as well. That's one of my go-tos.
Now, let me ask you this. We're talking about toppings. There's so many ways to prepare the dog. What's your favorite, Rob? I mean, you can steam them, you can boil them, you can grill them. You can put them on a campfire.
You can. My dad boiled them growing up, so that's kind of what I was used to. When I got older, he started to grill them, and that became my favorite. But I will not ever pass up a boiled hot dog. And people might think that's gross, but especially with the natural casings, it keeps the integrity of the hot dog, so they don't.
You get that real nice plumpness in there.
Exactly right, and then you bite into it and you get that snap, and it's. No, I've not air fried a hot dog, Bobo. That's
I was going to drop mine in there, man. I haven't had an air fried one, but I love the Ripper. Throw that bad boy in the deep fryer. I want to see where it's just bursting. Yeah. Now it's going to come out. It's going to look amazing. I want to warn everybody: give that thing about a minute to 2 minutes to cool, because it's one of those. It snaps, and you are it'll burn the shit out of your mouth immediately, because that thing is it's going to come. You're going to get the wiener squirt on that, man.
I haven't had a Ripper, which is pretty much like a twice fried hot dog, right? Pretty much.
Oh yeah, it's ultra fried, baby, and they are awesome.
I've had a deep fried bacon wrapped hot dog, which is pretty good too. So, and you can find local places,
and you can't, the variations, man. Love me a corn dog.
Corn dogs are great too. I'll usually go down to Sonic if I really need a corn dog fix, and I'll get one from them. Corn dogs are amazing. Especially, when you think of fair foods, you think of corn dogs. I mean, that's a big staple of, your local fairs. Who doesn't want a hot dog on a stick wrapped in deep fried and batter? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you another little thing I do at home. I'll put the chili, the cheese, the onion, the mustard in there, and I'll wrap it in a tortilla. Make a little burrito out of that thing. Throw it on the flat plate. Grill it a little bit on all the sides there. Cook it up, nice, ready to go.
This is why you need to be following Rick on Facebook and Twitter when it comes to RBV Fitness and RBV Eats Out, because he's an innovator. He has a passion for food, which is unmatched. I mean, I'm a fucking fat guy. Your passion for food completely goes above and beyond. I definitely tip my hat when it comes to you and and food. We're gonna wrap it up here, Rick. There's still so much more we can dive into when it comes to hot dogs. Maybe we'll do a special on all the hot dogs around the country and go region by region, state by state on types of hot dogs and what people prefer, because that we could do a whole show on that just alone. As we wrap it up here, Rick, if you were on a deserted island and you only had a choice between pizza and hot dogs, what would you pick?
Hey, you know what, man? It's about what we've been about for the last hour. Wiener Island.
I can't argue with that. I can't, and I love pizza, but I can't argue with that. I'm hot dog's biggest fans. Rick, I know you have a lot going on here with HMG, with the brand, with all your social medias. I also want you to talk about the wrestling event we have coming up. I'm going to give you the floor. Let everybody know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for the opportunity to kind of pitch. And Rob, we are honored and looking forward to have you on board with us. It's right around the corner here, coming up August 26th. It is a Thursday evening. My wrestling promotion, the Professional Wrestling Alliance. We are headed to the Swiss Wine Festival in Vevey, Indiana. Again, it is Thursday, the 26th, Swiss Wine Festival, Vevey, Indiana. The first time they've ever had pro wrestling, and we are honored they have invited the Professional Wrestling Alliance. We are the main event. We are the draw that Thursday evening. This is, if you're in the region, just not for us. I mean, this is one of the premier wine events in the entire country. It's a festival all based around this thing. I think one of the cool events they got is the grape stomping, which is one of the marquees. But they're going to have, we talked about all the fair food, the rides, the different attractions. They got an incredible music lineup. Country music fans, I think, the up there on their marquee, the headliner is Montgomery Gentry this year. So of course, we're honored to be in that same suggestion with them, but we have got a hell of a lineup coming in. We're booking the talent right now. We're setting up the match card. some of the big names you're going to recognize, formerly of Impact Wrestling, the big man, the monster Congo Kong. As seen on WWF TV, we have Doink the Clown coming in. We have got the man that's taking professional wrestling by storm. He is a 6-man tag team champion with Ring of Honor Wrestling, the notorious Shane Taylor. Hey, and of course, for you HMG fans, yes, I hope I'm not going to regret this. I hope he doesn't cause a riot and get us kicked out of the state of Indiana. But the Ayatollah himself, Ben Hameen, will be at the PWA, and we're calling it the Swiss Wine Super Show. And yeah, the Ayatollah representing the House of Saud. I can't believe we're doing this, but we are going to give him an opportunity at our champion, the great American champion, the Prophet of Pain, Amos. It's going to be one of our main events. We are looking forward to that. And again, Rob, we're glad that you're going to be a part of the show and helping us bring an incredible experience to the people of the Wine Festival and everyone there in Vivi, Indiana. Outside of that, I'm sitting down in the morning to record a new episode of Hitting the Marks with Jargo. You can find us on the Hameen media platforms or at hittingthemarks.com. But of course, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's Independence Day weekend. It is 4th of July. It is America's birthday. So we are fully focused on coming back with you Sunday. That's right. Sunday, July 4th, right around noon. We're going to get going about 10, 15 minutes early. So 11:45, 11:50 Eastern time, AM. Rad Rob and myself with the HMG Worldwide Hot Dog Eating Contest watch along right here on Hameen's YouTube channel.
Well, I appreciate being here, brother. It's always fun talking with you, especially when we're talking about food. And we appreciate everybody here in the chat as well, hanging out with us on HMG. I got
to remember to breathe when I talk. I was passed out there.
I'm glad you got water there so you can stay hydrated too. Thank you guys for you guys have had really great feedback about the expansion of this show to anything retro, and we do appreciate everybody listening as we kind of move here. We're kind of transitioning because of Podbean and other avenues that we haven't been able to put our shows out regularly. Ben's been putting them out on Patreon, patreon.com/Ben Hameen.
Patreon Hameen Media Group.
God, I'm gonna get slapped for that. Patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. I'm gonna edit that out when it comes to the audio.
If he gives you a free one, consider yourself lucky because most people have to pay $5 for those.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Ben's putting all of our shows up there for free. So you can listen to them, the Monday Locker Room, the Wednesday Locker Room, Light the Fuse, Next Level. What else with Friday Locker Room with Stevie Richards? The Horsemen are coming back at some point, guys. Don't worry. They recently had a YouTube only show. So definitely check that out. People are against HMG. The world is against us. We are the revolution. We are the revolutionaries. And we can't be silenced. We are merging with Vince Russo, who recently purchased the Realm Network. So we're in the transition period of switching over HMG to Realm. So when we do, obviously we'll keep you guys notified. But we're going to have a ton of content, a ton of shows. Groundbreaking stuff that you've never seen before from all genres, not just wrestling. We got comedy, we got music, we got right here with the retro stuff, all kinds of content that's coming soon. So just keep your eyes peeled for that on our Twitter and Facebook. Rick, always a pleasure, brother. We're going to have to get together and do something else soon. Looking forward to seeing you next month. Everybody else here that's been watching, thank you for hanging out, and thank you for everybody listening on the audio feed. I am your host, Rad Rob. This is RTW Rewind, where old school rules. Take care, guys.
See everybody Sunday.